Arsenal versus Kairat, Champions League match reflection through the Canon lens. So thoughts on Arsenal versus Kairat. So thoughts on the starting lineup. We expected a lot of rotation in this game. Calafiori comes in, Havertz comes in. And I thought the team that we put out, were players that need some sharpness, some fitness, and some confidence. But it's still a strong enough team that could go out and win this game. So thoughts on the first half. In the first half, within minute 2, in the second minute, Gyökeres gets on the score sheet. Nice assist from Havertz. In the 7th minute, Calafiori pulls his man in the box. VAR award the penalty. Their player steps up and makes it 1-1. In the 15th minute, Ben White with a nice assist. Havertz goes on a run, cuts in, smashes it into the net. Keeper should have done better, but a goal's a goal. And Havertz, on his return, gets an assist and now a goal to make it 2-1 to the Arsenal. In the 36th minute, Gyökeres, this time with the assist from Martinelli, who taps it in. I believe that's his 6th goal in the Champions League. His Champions League form has been very impressive. So he made it 3-1 at half time, and our thoughts on the first half. I thought it was a great first half. Only negative was conceding that goal. It was a needless penalty to give away, and they took their chance. And, but I'm just hoping in the second half for more goals. And, I was hoping that we can go on and score more. So, thoughts on the second half. Okay, was expecting more goals, like I said. However, the goals did not come. Well, one did. Gabriel Jesus scored, but then VAR ruled it out for offside. So, and then in the 90 plus 4 added minutes, in the injury time, Kairat's number 99, Richardinho, scored to make it 3-2. So we get the win. It's 3-2 to the Arsenal against Kairat. Probably should have been more. But you know what? 3-2 win. It's 8 wins out of 8. Top of the Champions League. 23 goals scored. 4 goals conceded. Highest scoring team in the Champions League. And we've conceded the least goals in the Champions League. So our goal difference of 19. And into the next round. Analysing players' performances. So Kepa, had a comfortable game. Ben White, good game. Mosquera I thought was solid today. Calafiori had a good game, except giving away that needless penalty. MLS had a comfortable game. Subs, Hikape came on later for Calafiori, slotted in well. Midfield, I thought Norgard had a great game in midfield today in the 6th. He looked comfortable on the ball. I like the flick that led to the 3rd goal as well. It was, good build-up play. I thought Havertz, considering it's his first game back, I thought he had a great game. Great assist to start off with, and a great goal as well. As if for me was average, I expected a bit more in this game. I thought this was a game where he could, really express himself and, and show the fans why we bought him. Subs, Odegaard came on for Havertz. I felt, again, starting to get a little concerned about Odegaard's performances. I felt like this was a game for him to just, get on the ball, create and make things happen. But, he just didn't look like he was creating much. He looked like he was lacking confidence. Certain passes that used to seeing him play, he wouldn't play, or he'd play them, but they wouldn't be as effective as before. For me, that can only mean one thing. He's lacking confidence. I really want the Odegaard of a few seasons back to return. Because he's a world-class player on his day. He's actually my favourite player. He's just, his dip in form has been really concerning. Hopefully, he picks it up and we need to get behind him and support him. So, I feel, Ibrahim came on late for Norgard. It was good to see, another youngster, get some Champions League action, which was really good. And attacking-wise, Madueke again, very direct again, always, on the front foot, trying to make things happen. For me, just lacked a bit of end product in the game. Gyökeres got a goal and an assist, all doing good for confidence. I felt he needed that. Martinelli looked lively, throughout the game. He did well, to get his 6th goal of the Champions League. I think the Champions League suits Gyökeres and Martinelli much better because, games tend to be a bit more open, which allows more space and time on the ball in the final third that they can benefit from. Whereas in the Prem, of course, you won't get that. You'll get teams that, tactically, when they play against us, they're more defensively compact. They apply a low block, limiting, spaces in those dangerous areas for us to capitalise on. So subs Bailey Joseph, he came on late for Martinelli. I thought it was nice to see another youngster get an opportunity. Jesus came on for Gyökeres. He scored a goal, but unfortunately was ruled out for offside. But he had a decent game. Man of the match, considering it's Havertz's first game back, I thought he produced a nice assist, early on for Gyökeres, and he took his goal well. So I'm going to give Havertz as my man of the match for this game. And Arteta, thoughts on Arteta? I thought Arteta rotated the squad well, giving those players that needed match sharpness some minutes, which fosters cohesion, team cohesion, and builds players' confidence when they come into the team, so that when they come into the team, they feel best prepared and ready to have an impact when called upon. So, and Kairat, thoughts on Kairat? Obviously, they're from Kazakhstan. Fair play to them. They came to the Emirates, and they scored 2 goals away at the Emirates. I think it's a memory for the club and the fans, and it was nice for them to have that moment. And yeah, next game, we're back in Premier League action on Saturday. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff away against Leeds. Again, another important game in the title race. We're going to need to bounce back from our defeat last weekend against Man United and get the win and get the 3 points. And of course, last but not least, I appreciate anyone that took the time to listen to this reflection. I hope you could connect with it. And please remember to subscribe and follow my Instagram page, my TikTok and YouTube. So subscribe and follow on all platforms. Please remember to like, comment and share. Even if you're not an Arsenal fan, if you're a football fan, share it to other Arsenal fans. And as always, come on you Gunners. Peace.